Welcome guys to your fifth Java tutorial. Today we are going to cover up the topic of data types. Now let's get a little bit of introduction for data types. Now, data types are types of data within our code. That is, whether the data is of integer type or real number or Boolean value. Data types helps us determine what exactly does our variable contain and how should the operating system handle that data type and store it within the memory of the system. So let's get started with the very first data type, that is integer data type. Now integer data types, they basically specify that the variable consists of some mathematical integer values, that is say 25, 50, or even negative values, that is minus 25, minus 50, since integer values range from negative value to positive value, right? So let's see the syntax of how we declare an integer variable. For declaring an integer variable, we use the keyword int followed by the name of the keyword, and we assign any integer value which we want to give. In order to declare multiple variable of integer type, we just use the comma sign and we can declare multiple integer values like this. Now in this particular example, I'm going to use two integer variables x and y. I'm just going to add those values and I'm going to store the value in the variable z. So we can use z equals to x plus y, and then just for demonstration purpose I'm going to display the value of the integer z. Quickly save the program and we'll run it, and we should get the output 40. There we go. This was just a basic declaration and initialization of an integer data type. The next data type we are going to cover up is the float data type. Now float data type specifies that the variable consists of some mathematical decimal value, that is say 35.53 or 76.456 and so on. The type float specifies a single precision value that uses a 32-bit of storage. Floats basically have a default value of 0.0f and are comparatively less accurate than the double data type, which is explained in the next section. So let's quickly see how float is supposed to be declared. We declare float using the keyword float followed by the variable name, and in this case I'm going to assign a value, say 25.50. okay, now if I just use a semicolon over here, we can see the compiler gives us an error. That is because the compiler is getting confused between the float value and the double value. So in order to tell the compiler explicitly that the value which we are providing over here is of type double, we use the suffix f. Similarly, we'll declare another float variable using f2 equals to say 35.48. okay, and just another variable to hold the addition of both the float values. Here we use the suffix f in both our values and the error is gone. We're going to add both the float values, that is f3 equals to f1 plus f2, and to verify we'll just print the value of f3. Save your program and you can see the value 60.98 is the output of the addition of both the float values. Now the float values, well, they are not that accurate. Okay, they cannot hold a larger decimal number. So in that case we are going to use a data type called as double. We declare double by using the double keyword, and we can probably give a very large number, and you can add say this decimal number which is quite large, and I'm going to use the same addition thing with a large decimal number. Well, you can verify with a calculator if you want, whether the answer which we receive is correct, but I'm not going to do that because it's a very large decimal number. So we're just going to give the addition of both d1 and d2, and we'll store the result of the addition in the variable d3. Now to verify again, we are going to uh, display the value of d3, and we should get a very huge decimal value. There you go, we got the addition of both the decimal value of double, right? So now double is usually double precision. It's also called as double precision because it's just an advancement to the float data type, and it is denoted by the double keyword. Okay, and it uses the 64 bits to store a value, since float uses 32 bit to store a value. And nowadays processors are, we hear a lot of things like a 64 bit processor is much faster as compared to a 32 bit processor. So the double keyword or the double data type is basically optimized for a 64 bit processor. That's why our programs execute much faster when we use a double data type for decimal values. And we can use double where when we are dealing especially with currencies. Currencies are usually like, you know, billions and billions of dollars or billions and billions of rupees, since I'm an Indian. So we can use these data types, that is double data types, to declare or to put the data of huge currency numbers so that our programs execute much faster and the calculations occur in a much faster way as compared to float data types. The next data type which I'm going to explain is Boolean data types. Okay, now Boolean data types are a special kind of data type which only contain two values. That is, it either contains a true value or a false value, or in binary terms we can say either it contains the value 1, that is true, or it contains the value 0, that is false. So we're quickly going to remove this chunk of code, and we are going to declare the Boolean variable by using the Boolean keyword, and we are going to declare the value equals to true. Value is just a name which we need to identify the Boolean type. It's a variable name. To just show the demo of how this particular and where this particular Boolean data type might be useful, I'm going to use if-else condition. It's a very basic if-else condition. Just try to understand, because I have not yet gone through the if condition tutorial yet, so I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So since the value of Boolean is true, and we are just going to use if else statement, right? I'm just going to try and explain this. Now this particular if statement is only going to execute if the condition within the parentheses is true. So since our value of the Boolean is true, we are just going to say value. Now the value is true, so the code within the parenthesis within the curl braces of the if condition is going to execute. So I'm just going to use a simple system.out.println, and I'm going to say true. Okay, there we go. And within the else, since if this does not execute, what's wrong? I'm going to display the character false. Quickly go and run it, and we should see true. There we go. Now if I change the value of Boolean to false, it should go here, it should check the value. Okay, now value is false, so the code within the if statement will not execute. Okay, it will come to the else part and false will be displayed, and there we go. We'll just run the program and we should see the false. There we go, we saw the false output. Okay, uh, this was Boolean data type, as basic and as layman language I can explain, right? So let's move on to the next data type, that is a string data type. Now string data types are nothing but sequence of characters, okay, and we declare string data types by using the string keyword. S is capital in this, and we give the name of the variable equals to, in double quotes we write whatever text we want to display, okay, semicolon. And if we display the output of greeting, in this we should see hello world text as an output. There we go. So whenever the compiler encounters this string keyword, it creates an object of the string class with a value of hello world in this case, okay. So we can also use some of the inbuilt functions provided by the Java library, like we can use the length function to calculate the length of the characters. So int length, since it will contain a number, we are going to declare length as len of integer type, and we are going to just say len equals to greeting dot length. Now the len variable will contain the length of the string greeting, which should be I guess 11. So we are just going to simply go and print the length or the len keyword, and we should get the value 11. There we go, 11 is the answer. Another inbuilt function which is also commonly used is the concatenation function. That is, concat is the method which is built in the string class. So we are going to create another string, say string value 2 equals to, say, Sabi, okay, and I'm going to concat using this particular line of code, that is greeting dot concat value 2. This will give us the output by joining this particular character as well as this particular character. Quickly go and run the program, and well, since we have not displayed it, we are not going to see the output. So I'm going to quickly write system.out.println, and we're just going to display the value. There we go. Now let's go and run, and we should probably see both the concatenation of the string. So this was just a basic tutorial of data types. There are other data types also, but these are the most commonly used data types in any programming language which you should basically understand. And that's it from me. Like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you disliked it, hit subscribe for more of such content. Comment below if you have any such questions regarding any of the programming I do, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Cheers.